Man, I don't know. It just seems like a lot. What do you need all that power for? I can do the same thing with my 308 or my 6.5. What do I need more power than that? Dude, I'm telling you, you gotta get it. You don't know what you're missing. The power, the speed. That 308, it's nothing. You can't enjoy a 308. You gotta have some horsepower. Yeah, I hear you, but I don't see what the point is. I mean, you're breaking your shoulder. Yeah, you can reach out and touch something, but I've got plenty of calibers that can reach out and touch something, and I just don't think I need that much power. Well, you remember when you were afraid of horses, right? You got bucked off, but you got back on and you rode them. It's the same thing, man. You just got to get on and ride it. Ride the lightning. Besides, if you don't, you're kind of a pussy. I'm not a pussy. Fine, I'll get it. There you go. That's the attitude I need to see. Let's go get it. Alright, hey, welcome back to the channel. Did my best there with that little skit at the beginning, but I'm sure you all can relate at one point or another in your life. Got that buddy. That's kind of where I'm at with this new purchase. So here we are. We're breaking down another gun. This is one that I didn't think I would ever find myself getting into this big a caliber. I've always said to myself, you know, what's the point of having something that just kicks the living dog shit out of you? I've been scoped a couple times with guns in the past, and it just doesn't seem like a good time for me. But here we are. We went ahead and did it. I actually had a buddy, and that's kind of why I did that skit, because it wasn't quite that dramatic, but he did a very good job of convincing me why I needed this gun in my collection. We went ahead and purchased this gun. We're just going to jump into it. This is a CVA Cascade. This is the long range version, and it's an awesome gun. I was actually contemplating this gun about a month or so ago. I was kind of looking at them and saying, you know, that's pretty cool gun. But what reason would I have to get it? Quite a bit bigger than I've used in the past. I think the 308 basically is probably the biggest caliber that I've owned. For the most part, this 308 has been just fine for me, but I do like the idea of reaching out there and having some horsepower. So I broke down and bought this gun. Let me show you what we got here. Like I said, this is from CVA. And when you think of CVA, you think of muzzle loaders. Muzzle loaders were the big start for CVA, and they pretty much crushed the market when it came to black powder. But they got into rifles, building rifles. And from what I've seen on the reviews of this gun, this particular line, a lot of guys are raving about them. For the money, they say you can't really beat them. They're built like the real expensive ones, but yet you're not breaking the pocketbook getting one. So we were contemplating in between the 300 Win Mag and the 7mm PRC. And my buddy, he talked me into getting the PRC. And I know for some of you guys that have shot these bigger calibers, it's probably not that big a deal, but I did shoot a Barrett one time, and that was a rush. So maybe I got a little broke from my shyness of the bigger calibers with that 50 cal. But so yeah, I've been kind of looking into long range, wanting to be able to kind of reach out there, especially in the places I hunt up west. It'd be nice to have something with a little knockdown power and shoots a little flatter than what I can do with like a 308 or even the 5.6. The Creedmoor is a good round, and it's very, very popular right now. I just don't think that it's what I want out there. If I've got that big deer out in front of me and I've got, you know, he's within that 500-yard range, I'm going to feel a lot more comfortable, I think, with something like this. So here it is. This is the CVA long range. Got the nice adjustable cheek well here. It's got a muzzle brake on it. It's got the short bolt flip, nicely laid out gun. And I'm really anxious to get this thing out. That's not a bad trigger. They say 2 pounds at the bottom, but I'll tell you what, that almost feels as good as my Savage Sav 1 trigger that I have in my 270 and my 308 and my 6.5. I have all those in that trigger and they feel awesome. The other nice thing I like about this is it comes with a Picatinny rail. Now I think some of the other models came with just a partial Picatinnies on each side. And from what I was seeing in those reviews, a lot of guys were having a lot of issues trying to find a scope long enough to get the adjustment for their eye relief with just those, and they were having to put a Picatinny on there after the fact. So this comes with a Picatinny. Like I said, it's got a muzzle brake on it. Now I'm going to change this out. I'm going to go to a Ultradyne muzzle brake. I really enjoy these muzzle brakes. This thing just makes this 308 act like a 22. It's beautiful. So we're going to get something similar to that on this this 7mm PRC, but just a nice gun. And the only thing that I don't have for it right now is a scope. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the scope off this 308. This one here is the this is a 5x25 by 56, and it will serve me much better on this gun than it will on this gun. It's done a great job on this gun, don't get me wrong, but I think it's going to serve a better purpose on this bigger cartridge. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to swap these out. It's nice to have that power, but it's not needed with that 308. I can reach 600 yards or better with that 308, but it's just a real archy. And I think that this scope, this bigger 56, it's a 5x25 by 56 Strike Eagle, and I think that will suit me a lot better on this bigger caliber gun. So what we're going to do with the 308, if you checked out my last video, we changed out the scope on my Creedmoor, and we went with the 4x15 by 44 first focal plane. It's from Optics Planet, and it's a color scheme of theirs, just their own color scheme in this granite color. I really love this. So they had this one in a bronze, and I think it's going to really look sharp on that gun there. So we went ahead and ordered a scope for that gun, and we're going to take the big 56 and slap it on this 7mm PRC. So we'll go ahead and let's get started doing that. All right, well, we've got the scope mounted on it, and I'm hoping that this is level. I just had a hard time with this gun trying to get everything level on it, so I think we're pretty close though. I put levels on my mounts on the top, the flat part of the mounts, kind of eyeballed and leveled up that scope in my sights and set my cheek well. Yeah, we'll just have to see when we get to the range tomorrow. Hopefully we get to the range tomorrow and we'll be able to put this baby to the test. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with this caliber. It's fairly new. It's like 2 years old, 3 years old maybe at the most. So here's our size difference. If you can see that, I'll get out of the way. Pretty substantial difference in bullets. There's, you know, the neck starts at where the neck ends on the 308. So, and pretty thick. There's a lot of powder in there compared to this one. So I think the 308's going to be hitting around 2,800 feet per second. This one's going to be rated around that 3,000 or so, depending on what load you're using. But yeah, it's going to be quite a bit more than what I'm used to with that 308, obviously. But we're going to try to get it out tomorrow. My son Aiden's coming, and then I might have a couple buddies from work coming out too to shoot. May see some new faces here on the channel tomorrow. That muzzle brake, that factory muzzle brake makes me nervous. I'd rather have my Ultradyne on there so I know that thing's not going to come up and kiss my forehead. One of the things that I'm noticing, and I've heard this in a review before, but it has a little bit of a zipper. Kind of hear that metal on metal zip. And I'm hoping that in time that'll go away once it starts wearing in. Yeah, we're just going to have to get this thing out and try to get it on paper. Your trigger tension is just a little set screw here in the front. I took that, put just a little bit of Loctite on it on the ends and let it dry, and then put it back in there. So hopefully that'll be just enough to keep that in there. More than likely, we're going to end up getting a different trigger setup in this. Andy said that this is based off of the Remington 700 system, so you can find a lot of aftermarket triggers for this. That's a good thing. So hopefully we can find a really good, nice trigger for this thing and get it even lighter. But out of the factory, I can't complain. It's a pretty nice trigger. Excited to kind of explore my options with this. I want to do the Arca rail. I'll get that Ultradyne muzzle brake on this thing, and then yeah, that's pretty much all I think I'm going to, and maybe a trigger. But if I'm happy with this trigger, I'm not going to mess with it. We're going to be shooting the Outfitter ammunition tomorrow just to break it in. I'm not holding my breath on anything with that ammo. Probably not the best stuff but it's going to be good enough to break in. It's the cheapest, so kind of why I got it. I just wanted to see how it reacted with this gun breaking in. Anyway, we will see you tomorrow, hopefully on the range. If we do make it to the range, I will put that on the end of this video.